when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this again. I just went cold turkey. But then I almost had to go to the hospital and do that whole thing of like
Oh yeah, because your
withdrawal.
body's like.
Yeah, yeah. Sick, man. It was sick. It was way different.
Were you working with mostly guys who have been like special forces, or it
Everybody,
was
yeah.
everybody?
I was like the only ranger for a while there. I was the only ranger on my team. We had 2 Green Berets. My team lead was a Green Beret of like 20 years or something like that. We had a Marine Force recon guy and 2 SEALs. Um, no, it was an Army guy. No, it was 2 SEALs, 2 Green Berets, and we had some MARSOC dudes.
Mm.
But I was the only Ranger. And we had a Delta Force guy. He wasn't on my team, though. There was a couple of Delta Force guys on the camp that I stayed at. They call it the man camp. But it was interesting group of guys. Learned a lot, and you learn your place as far as like the totem pole of spec ops, and like coming from the Ranger Battalion, you feel that Ranger Battalion's the pinnacle, you know. Then you get around these guys, and you're like, hell no. They're extremely smart when it comes to planning and war fighting. Yeah, extremely smart, like samurais.
I mean, the thing is though, like you left, but you essentially got right back in. You're
Yeah.
doing something different, but you're back in the game. You're back in the action.
yeah.
You never really stopped. Like at least though, when you were going in under diplomatic protection, it sounds like the stakes are lower. You're less likely to run into shit. Obviously, it
yeah.
wasn't like Afghanistan in '09.
No.
But like, where are you emotionally while this is happening? Because it's like since you were 18, all you've ever known is the army, and more specifically, all you've ever known is war.
Yeah, yeah. Emotionally, I hit it really well. I think that you maybe couldn't tell that I was not feeling so well emotionally, but deep down inside, I hated every minute of it. I loved it, but I hated it at the same time because I just wanted to be home. You know, I hated the way Iraq looked. I hated the way Middle East looked. Everything was just brown, sand colored. Everything was, it had a certain smell to it. You come back to America and it smelled better. You know, I could go to Walmart or I could go here, and it was just a better time. I could drink whenever I wanted to. If I wanted to have a drink, or I could do this, or I could whatever. And I at least had my wife. But being over there, you're just around like 50 dudes all the time. And unless you're, nothing wrong with it, but unless you're broke, your wrist broke, you know, it's not really, unless your wrist broke. I mean, it's not really what I don't want to be around 50 dudes, you
Right.
know, every day, all day. It gets old after a while.
So when you made the decision to get out, staying in bed,
Yeah.
did you have any idea what you wanted to do at that point?
No, just stay in bed at that point. that was it. That was it. Like I knew I had to do something, but I just didn't want to do the Middle East thing, the war thing anymore. I knew that. That's all I knew. That's all I knew. So like for a while, I just literally stayed in bed. Not for a while, it was like for a couple of days. And it felt good to just not wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, and put this on and go do this.
Yeah.
It felt good.
A little bit of freedom.
Yeah. But then it became too much freedom to where you have too much time on your hands to where you think too much. And that's where it just went downhill from there of
How so?
the whole, everything, the trauma, I guess, the trauma that occurred overseas finally had time to settle in. Yeah. Big time. I think that was the the one thing that I think I take away from that portion, that time of my life, was giving myself time to actually not do anything was good. It allowed me to acknowledge things that I had wrong with me, but bad in the fact that I have to deal with this now, you know, and now I'm starting to relive things and feel certain things that I hadn't felt before, or taken the time to even feel. That was the trade-off of it. But yeah.
You getting angry at all? Because like you're coming
yeah.
back into regular society, which is like,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk night and day.
Yeah. It was a lot of that. A lot of that. Yeah. A lot of self-medicating to try to figure something out. A lot of that. A lot of that.
Like alcohol?
You name it. Well, not you name it. It was alcohol and weed, yeah. And at one time mushrooms, but just every day.
That's a little different.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Different. But every day was alcohol, at least alcohol. Every day from the moment I woke up to...
From the moment you woke up.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I didn't drink water for like a year, dude. That's what it felt like. It was just Jack Coke and Bud Light or Coronas. From like a 40-pack and a bottle of Jack would be like the routine. If I couldn't finish the 40 of beer, I'd finish like half of it easily. And like half the bottle of Jack I would finish. And that's every day. Did that for about a year or two.
How'd your wife handle that?
She barely hung on, man. Barely hung on. Like, I wasn't like I was violent at times towards other people, yeah. And like, she did bring her friends over one time, and that was a bad call. Think I scared a bunch of people that day. And then like with my family, like I don't talk to my family anymore, and
at that point,
still don't because of that time. Yeah.
You still don't talk with your family?
No, because of an incident that it was a little bit. I was drinking, and the other part was disrespect from somebody in my family that I just don't do disrespect well, and it just got stupid on my behalf. And yeah, it just I think at that point people just saw who I had became from the person I was before I left, and who I had became was different in that aspect. And I don't think that they necessarily liked that person. I didn't either, but it is who I was, you know.
But it's easy for me to say on the outside not being there, but at the same time, not to say like when you fuck up and do bad shit, you can always just write it off. But
yeah,
it's not like you went to fucking Costco for 7 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like we've all, many people out there listening have had different members of their family. It doesn't mean they had to be in the military or something like that, but like go through stuff, and like you change as a person, and sometimes there's very negative shit that happens. But maybe this is just how I operate. I'm more like, okay, however I can help them, guide them through this situation, I will. Not step on toes where I can't, but like they're dealing with something. It's not them at this time.
Exactly.
Eventually, they'll get back to being them. But it sounds like that's obviously you weren't like given that opportunity.
No.
That's a shame.
It can be if you think about it. Yeah, I agree.
But your wife hung with you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Sounds like you got an awesome marriage.
Yeah, never swayed. She's known me since first grade, man. You know, so she's seen all the changes from the little kid who used to want to be in karate to who I was and who I am today. She's seen all the changes. So for the good and the bad, but she's always been there. It's like the only consistent thing in life since then has been her. Yeah, the only form of consistency. That's the only one.
So you don't talk with your parents?
Not really. No. Like when I was overseas, I would have to be told like, "Hey, Irv, it's Mother's Day. Call your mom." You know, I would call out of the like 3 months. I would maybe call once or twice. Just didn't. I don't know, man. It's weird. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. You know, just don't like. I'm not like a really big talker. I can talk, like, you know, I am now, obviously, but I'm like low key a loner. Not a loner. I'm just a very quiet person. Yeah, naturally, just a quiet person. There's a lot going on up here. Like, I'm probably in a club right now in my head, but on the outside, you just get the, you know, quiet me. Yeah. But I don't know.
Well, you said earlier, like your parents were always, you know, they kept to themselves. Like they
Mm-hmm.
didn't divulge a lot of stuff. I wonder if that's like kind of, and you're a quieter, more
Yeah.
introverted guy too. And I can tell that talking with you today. Like
Yeah.
you do great when you're going, but I can tell
Oh
like
yeah.
you gotta
You're
you
not
gotta
the.
get you there, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Yeah.
But like, maybe that's like you have a similar gene to them in a way, but it
Mm-hmm.
manifests a little differently,
Different.
and that
Yeah.
crosses the chords with you guys.
I agree. I agree. It very much so, man. Very much so. Very much so. It's just I don't know, we're all different,
Yeah.
It just is, I would a world full of talkative people, I think I'd not want to be here. So, you got to have the offsets. Yeah. Got to have the offset.
How did you get through that period though? Like where you
Yeah.
because you're sober now, right?
Yeah.
For the most part.
I mean, yeah. I smoke CBD. That's about it.
That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
If
point
that's
being,
what,
you're not facing Calico Jack to start off your mornings.
No, hell no, not anymore, not anymore. My liver couldn't take it, man. No, I've had enough of Jack, man, enough Jack, big time. My wife, man, I would say is like it's like literally the only thing that's been like the consistency and. And now my son, it's like I can't have him see that like that.
Right.
So that's like the icing on the cake, cherry on top for me is I can't, the stories I want left behind, like when he tells a story about dad, I don't want his stories to be like, man, dad was just a weird drunken dude,
Yeah.
I can't have that, when I go. At least that, Dad might be a weird dude, but at least he wasn't a drunk weird dude.
Right. Right. Way better.
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But you just kind of stopped. It sounds like you just kind of stopped doing that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
Took a while.
Cold turkey?
No, I went to AA one time and I didn't like that. Quit that. The second time when I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this again. I just went cold turkey. But then I almost had to go to the hospital and do that whole thing of like,
oh yeah, because your
withdrawal.
body's like,
Yeah. It
shit.
was sick, man. It was sick. Wife took care of me and it really wasn't that bad,
That's good.
Wasn't that bad.
That's a good story. A lot of people obviously have trouble with that when they get that dependent too.
I worked out, start working out more, and that was like a big game changer too.
Oh yeah.
It filled the time, like the time where I wasn't drinking, I was working out or something, I didn't have to worry so much about, waking up from sweats and like, man, I need a beer or a shot to stop the shakes,
Ain't no better medicine than working out.
Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
greatest thing ever.
Yep. Hell yeah.
I'm glad you got through that too. I mean, you seem like you're in a really good place. Too,
Oh yeah.
When I talk with you.
Yeah, I'm like a million times better than, from when I first got out, but I don't think anybody's ever going to be,
Right.
yeah, where we want to be. I don't know. Some people are where we want to be, but I think there's always room for like some improvement all the time.
You can't delete the tape in your head.
There you go.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's just how you do an amazing job now of managing that and
Yeah.
But everyone at different there's levels to this shit.
Exactly.
You gotta deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And you're at a high level, obviously, because you saw things a lot of us wouldn't. But, it's when I talk with the guys like you who were also spending significant time in Afghanistan, the 500-pound elephant in the room, as well as that it didn't end well.
Yeah.
Long after you were already gone from there. But, we all get those images in our head of August 2021 with the Taliban back taking control. They're using our fucking weapons that we left there. Obviously, the pullout was very fucked up. But, like, I would never want to look at it like guys who go over there bravely, like, die in vain or anything like that.
Yeah.
But is there ever... I'm not trying to be disrespectful with that either, but is there ever the thought of like, what the fuck were we even doing?
That's the only thought, man. That's the only thought. Like, what was it for? Yeah, I get what you're saying, like not dying in vain, but there's only so many words you can, I guess, pick and choose. I just know that that's like the only question that's left for me is, what was this all for anyways then? You know, if you're just going to give them this stuff, we just leave the way we left. Like, goodbye, good luck. Here's some money and here's some guns and equipment. And we're still supplying them with millions of dollars to the Taliban, like weekly, monthly. It's like, you know, yeah, I guess. Yeah, what was this for? You know, I know. I think I know. It wasn't, I don't know.
What do you think?
It's money, just money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Some families at higher positions of power just needed more money. And that was one way to go about it. Probably the easiest way financially for them. And they sent us out there. Made them rich, you know. That's what I think. Which, what can you do, man? You know?
Yeah, I try not to be cynical about the world, but sometimes there's certain things you can't help it with.
Thank you. Yep. And it's noticeable. Yeah. What we went over there for. None of it makes any sense. The only thing that does make sense is that, this is for money.
Right.
That's it.
Well, when guys like you come on to different podcasts like this and put it on historical record and show people what happened and show people what, you know, the highest trained people were sent in there to do and the good job they did doing that. I think that's important for, you know, the kids that watch this 30, 40 years from now and wonder, oh, why were we there and things like that. It's, you blame like I said earlier, you blame the people in the suits and offices who don't give a fuck about anything but themselves. Yeah. And that's fine, but you separate that from what happens out there, and it's a real honor to hear that type of historical record in the studio every time it happens. So I really appreciate you.
All good.
You sharing it today, man.
Thank you.
This was awesome, brother. So
I appreciate it.
We're gonna have to do this again.
It's awesome being here, man.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It would probably be pretty cool to see you and Danny Hall in the studio together.
Let's do it, man.
I think I got to make that happen in the spring.
Let's do it, yeah.
All right.
In this lifetime.
Yeah, let's talk about that. But Nick, thank you, brother.
Hey,
fucking amazing story.
All good.
Everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Before you leave, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. It's a huge help. And also, if you're over on Instagram, be sure to follow the show at Julian Dorey Podcast or also on my personal page at Julian D. Dorey. Both links are in the description below. Finally, if you'd like to catch up on our latest episodes, use the Julian Dorey Podcast playlist link in the description below. Thank you. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here